Alright. Completely tired for this. Time got away from me. But we're here for Mystery 25, Nancy Drew, Alibi, and Ashes. Gonna have to pull my mic a little bit forward. Um, Probably move this a little bit. Just because I'm gonna be leaning a little bit. Alright, so quickly the updates and like the gameplay. Center of Operations has been updated. We get to see Ned in a photo. We also get to see things to like the like game's cover. We get to see like the nose down of Nancy. Nancy's like very barely uh, like seeable in the games. We get to play as Ned, Nancy's boyfriend, Bess and George, Nancy's besties, and then all four characters, including Nancy, get their own phone wallpaper, calling back to previous mysteries. Um, for travel of the town, instead of the manual driving that was introduced during Old Clock, we use more closely to the Kapu Cave GPS traveling. Basically, you're gonna see the town map. You click on where you want to go. You drive to it. It's quick and easy. It sadly does leave kind of like a part of the gameplay out of it, but also, each character has their own relationship with others, giving speech responses that are gonna differ per character. There's also sometimes the key. They're also sometimes the key to moving forward. Um, Ned is very forward in his like questioning. Bess is more friendly, while George is more tactical, and she really works on getting under a lot of people's skin, and they kind of come out with like things and little pieces to add to the mystery and like what's happening. Um, my thoughts. The gameplay is new, interesting. Seeing the environment, the relationships, it makes the world seem it builds the world. Um, because the world's already pretty big because we're crossing countries, and like everywhere. Um, the mystery is an idea is a fantastic one. Um, I like benching Nancy, but things like straight up giving evidence away is still a issue in this. Like, why would you give away big things um, to characters that would like? I think some things give awards for not saying a thing in previous mysteries, but it is kind of a dumb that we're just gonna be like, hey, I got this on you. Why would you say something to someone when you're trying to get Nancy out of trouble here? Everything else is better than a lot of the mysteries in this era of the games. The only problem I have is the choice of interactable characters aside from Alexi. We deal with more miserable people than like the nice people of the town. Even small things like talking to some of the locals by just clicking on their house and they'll be pretty nice to you. It's so much better talking to them than half of the people that you need to talk to. So real quick before we get into the summary and stuff of the games, I think we'll be redoing a lot of the old ones because they're very no like they're off the hook. So I think we're gonna go back and kind of make them more condensed story like this one. We'll probably throw in like I don't know what I would say, probably five mysteries in one, and I'll go ahead and delete the past ones um, because it makes no sense. It's just um, to keep those ones up that are like kind of crappy. Not to mention, I think it was Waverly got so far away from me. So, anyways, Nancy returns home to River Heights. Her, Ned, Bess, and George are made a team known as Team Danger for the annual Clue Challenge, a mystery hunt that has the winner get to put something into the time capsule, opening up the new center of operations. This is moments before we get into the actual mystery. So, other mysteries, it's kind of like she's getting ready to go on the next mystery. Like, hey, I've been asked to go to this area. So we're looking through the mystery, kind of figuring out what I'm going to do, and then several days later or several hours later, we finally see it. This is literally just, okay, I'm going off of this thing, and I'm going to go. Let's see here. Let's see. Nancy is given a anagram clue, which leads her to get locked into a room inside the old town hall with a trap. A snowflake ice cube fries the temperature, the thermostat. This makes a fire, and because of an accelerant, the fire spreads very quickly. Let's see here. Then, when she escapes, onlookers, including a news reporter, are quick to accuse her. She is arrested for being the prime suspect of arson. So this is why I said I really like this, is because it's just like Nancy. What I liked about the recent one that we did, the where Mystery 2's guy comes back and is like, oh, I'm getting revenge because of blah blah blah. It's like, that understandable. I don't know why it doesn't happen more. So this time it's like Nancy's finally getting in trouble for something, and she's dealing with consequences, or like how a normal thing would work. And here's when you start playing as Ned, Bess, and George. So due to Nancy being locked up, the rest of the Team Danger have to collect evidence and clear her name. So basically, you're running around as one of the characters. Nancy calls them. You transfer to them, kind of very similar to Capu Cave, where you were calling to the Hardy Boys. I think we had this also during the Louisiana one, when I think it was Bess. And I know we played as George in that one where Bess gets kidnapped. So Nancy, most of the game, she is left to make a call to transport between characters. She's also has connection with her father, which helps gives leads. And thanks to the police chief, he allows Nancy to go around the station, still detained, which by all means is technically not something you're gonna do, but because she's the town hero, you can't just, not expect something to be a problem. So might as well have your detective still detained for public sake, but at least try to help her figure out the situation. Using the equipment and the evidence board, you every now and again you can check with Chief to kind of see where you're at. But basically, it's just you need everything to make it. Chief will check it and be like, okay, that's enough evidence to say that you are no longer the prime suspect. But the issue here is that it's very obvious that Nancy being pinned as the prime suspect was the only one that they really looked into. So all the evidence they have is for Nancy. They don't have any of the onlookers, people who were in the area, looked into. Let's see here. Oh, and then once you have enough evidence, you'll be let go as Nancy. And at that point, you are just going to play as Nancy to finish the mystery. Moving on to the characters of the mystery. These are basically the suspects. There is Alexei Markovic. He's the OG kid detective. He was like Nancy back when her father was in his early career, so probably his early 20s. He's about the same age as his father. of her father. Um, he was the only. He was very close to breaking open a crooked politics known as Bennington, I believe. Um, I was making this very quick on job, so that name I don't know about. He was a crooked politic, and to avoid him coming out with the truth, Bennington pinned a theft of a priceless magnifying glass. Sorry, excuse me. Um, the priceless magnifying glass on Lexi, and basically Alexi kind of was given up on. All family and friends kind of just let him fall into this, and he was held guilty. So with no one trusting him, he lost his business as a detective. He lost his friends, his family, and I believe he even mentions him having a girlfriend. And it's just like, well, he's got nothing. After some he barked up at the wrong tree, and it ruined his life. So let's see here. Oh, and because his life is basically over, he was very similar to his parents. When they got older, he became a antique shop owner. So for his when they asked him where he was and what he was doing around, of course he's going to be questioned because he was a previous problem in the town. But there he was told them that he was walking around, but he lied. So he was there for town hall to get the time capsule because Bennington basically said you won't find it for years. So he thought maybe that was where he may have put that magnifying glass, and well, it was in there. So at the end of the mystery, the time capsule is opened. They find the magnifying glass, and because they found it, that means he's cleared. Luckily, sadly, because of what happened with the rest of his life, he decides to kind of just continue being a store owner. And basically, when it comes to the particular character who can talk to him, most of them can really get to where they need to with him, because Alexi is probably the most helpful person of this mystery because he wants to help Nancy as best as possible here. Moving on to Deidre Shannon. She's kind of a weird way to say. She's a peer of Team Danger, so she's about the same age as Nancy. I think they grow up together. Not much to her as a young lady, aside from her being a high-income family. And she gets very compared to Nancy because it's like, you're in a higher income house, you should be having these achievements, but this backwater girl is just going around the globe solving mysteries and breaking things that have been mysteries for years, and even legacies, hey, this person that was an infamous or famous person, she found out some stuff about it. Let's see here. So her whole thing is she's got a grudge on Nancy for being compared to her. She ran a red light to catch up with Nancy because she wanted to catch her cheating on that clue challenge. That way it makes her look bad. And the anagram that Nancy starts the mystery with, she found it, took it from Nancy, went to the place thinking she could find the end of the clue challenge, but because it didn't lead anywhere, she gave it to Nancy to kind of follow her and figure out if she knows what it is, if someone was just handing her it. Let's see here. And really that's about it. So basically she's just someone who's just snooty, wants Nancy to fail. The whole thing with her is you have to be Ned because she's got a crush on Ned. I believe it's one, Ned is supposed to be like a very fancy, nice looking guy, but it's most likely because it would be a revenge crush. Just like, hey, I have your boyfriend now. Moving on to Tony Scolari, I think it is. She's a councilwoman rerunning for elections. She's related to Bennington through marriage. She was setting up signs and talking to people for the election, or when stuff was going on with the fire. She also runs an ice cream shop that's going under. She's also trying to use the town hall for development. So when the town hall is on fire, it would benefit her. On top of all of that, the council, including Tony, believe Nancy's making them look bad because it's just like they're not doing these magnificent things. Let's see here. And basically, when the fire happens, it just publicly she wants someone to take the fall, and Nancy is like two birds with one stone. And it's perfect for her. And she's delighted she's the one who basically told the police to arrest her, just to have somebody. And she's the reason why the board is nothing but Nancy. To talk to her, you have to be Bess, because Bess has been a customer of her ice cream shop for a while. Not to mention they've built this friendship. Moving on to the most annoying character, Brenda Carlton. She's the local news reporter. She's your generic, cold-blooded, cutthroat reporter who's looking for a story, not news. She comes out swinging illegally. I don't know back in that age or that time, but she's very unprofessional. And even though she says, "Oh, I'm doing it by the book," she's not. This event has happened, and she reports it as Nancy is the arsonist. So before any police work can happen, and before she can officially be given the story that this is the person, she literally says, "Nancy Drew, the arsonist, has burned down this town hall, and it's out for everybody else." Not like realistically, you can't say Nancy Drew because you gotta be safe about it, because you're throwing someone underneath the bus. Their family and friends can get physically harmed from it, and that's basically like right there is an indirect like target on someone's back. But the biggest thing is, I think it's defamation now. You have to say allegedly, which she does make fun of when you're talking to her. And it's just like, you didn't even say, like, Nancy Drew was a possible suspect. You just said she was. And while nothing really happens aside from a bricking through in her windows, nothing really happens. But it's true, because it's like there'd be a mob around a house of someone you pinned just because you said they're a bad person. And without the full story, you just basically sign someone's death warrant, because there's people in the world, not just this country, that will take it upon themselves to do justice. And then let's see. Even before the police can do proper investigation, like collect any evidence, aside from the easy stuff, we'll get into that, or look into any of the other suspects, similar to Deidre and Tony, she wants something to happen to Nancy, just because of, she was supposed to have like a TV special for her news, that Nancy, because she uncovered a mystery behind it, she lost that special. And because that stopped her from moving forward in her career, she blamed Nancy. By one of Nancy's mysteries and desperate to move on with her career is the whole thing I was going to move on want to, but I said it. So real quick, I was saying, what was it? The easy stuff. So the thing with the issue with me with the police here, yes, they needed someone to throw underneath the bus, and just detaining Nancy's understandable. But not really understandable, because she's a free woman until you have actual evidence. And the only evidence they have is literally in Nancy's statement to them. Hey, here's what happened with the fire. Here's what started it. I got here, so of course. And they had a note, basically, within a few minutes of you getting the ability to move around as Nancy. So check, the second you get the note, she should go free. Hey, my alibi sticks because here's the note that I was following, and it's singed, so it did get burned in the fire. So it's just everything Nancy said was true. She gave you every single little bit of the evidence. She completely told you what it is. The only issue I understand is the fact that she's a detective, and she would know, she would phrase it if she was the actual criminal as, yeah, I'm in my detective habits. I know exactly how everything went up. And she can easily just pin it on somebody else in the area. So you kind of have to still put her as a suspect, but it's just the only evidence you have is stuff that she told you. And realistically, no criminal is going to just tell you exactly how things happened. But going into the closing game, the ice cube was from Tony's shop. The sprinkler system was supposed to take out the fire. Alexi says that it should have knocked out the fire immediately, but apparently it got turned off, and the key was hidden in his shop. There was tunnels throughout River Heights where you can find the isopropyl alcohol, which is the accelerant that made the fire go up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I guess so there's you go into a side room in these tunnels. You get told about those tunnels by Tony because you ask her, hey, is there any way to get shortcuts? And she mentions the tunnels and kind of gives you an understanding of what it is. And then you go to Alexi to understand more about him, and he basically has an entire map of the whole thing. And he basically points out how to get to it. But so when you arrive to it, you find this room, and you find the alcohol. You also find on top of it a Nancy dartboard, which basically means Tony, not Alexi, Tony, Deidre, and Brenda could have been. But then immediately, it's Brenda. There's a bunch of stuff just strewn about her news and all that. Basically, she's been using the tunnels to get quickly between news, and she gets called in tips, and I believe she basically knew because she set the fire. She was ready for it. I think that's it for this one. Oh, and of course, in Nancy Drew style, instead of just going to the police and giving them the evidence and kind of having her guide them to Brenda and more evidence, she goes right for it and then gets in a trap again. She luckily finds the clue challenges little thing, and you're able to. Nancy wins it on her escape. Nancy's able to quickly get to the chief, give him the evidence, and then while Brenda is on news trying to slander Nancy further, and she has a recording that's supposed to completely it's edited in a way to say Nancy did it, but while she's broadcasting, she gets arrested. She gets convicted, and she becomes a weather girl, I believe. A news reporter in prison. Um, so this one, like I said, very fun, very amazing concept. Would love to see this more often. I would like to see the Hardy Boys back again, like a more Capu Cave, and I'd like to actually play as both whenever I want to. The only issue with this one is just like once you're like halfway through the evidence, you can tell who it is because it's just like Tony. She's there for profit. She's not gonna burn down a thing in case because that's a major thing. Deidre, she's more petty than anything. So she's not gonna do this arsonist stuff. Well, yes, it's like the jealous detective would want his get back on the new girl, but makes no sense once he starts helping you a lot. Brenda is straight up just a menace the entire mystery because you cannot talk to her with anybody. You can get her to like be a menace to like Nancy and kind of speak her truth with her, but aside from that, she's straight up her reporter self the entire time. Oh, you have a thing you want to talk about, and that's their entire character. So it's just like the fact that it's just like you're reporting and you're hard selling this Nancy story. The fact that you went out of your way to even do this, because it's like, even if she wasn't the person to be the culprit in the end, technically, in nowadays standards, once Mr. Drew comes back, they could have just set up as a case for multiple things, including the brick getting thrown in the window, the slander, what you call it? It's like defacing them publicly. So it's just like you cannot do this without saying allegedly or the suspect, which technically you can't even do because it's just happened. Nothing is known at this point. They just, because she's the one coming out of there, she's going to be the prime suspect. But realistically, even if she wasn't the one who did it, she would have been fired. Realistically, that news station, if they were smart, they would have fired her because they probably would have wanted to detach from her. That way, they can't be held liable for what she did. So, all right. Well, anyways, I'm getting tired, and I gotta do more stuff coming days. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.